the latest on a small plane crash in Seldovia, killing 4 people. What a witness on scene heard just minutes before impact.
Plus, new statewide crime numbers reveal a major split. Investigative reporter Johnson Kuhn is taking us through the data.
And many Alaskans will see high winds and heavy rain as the storm moves east across the state. I'll show you when the impacts are likely where you are.
And city officials plan for the upcoming year, what they're saying about data centers.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
And tonight we are hearing new firsthand accounts of the plane crash in Seldovia that killed 4 people.
Our Georgina Fernandez spoke with a visitor from Arkansas who watched the crash unfold just offshore and hit record as people rushed to help.
A plane crashed over there and it sunk. It's bubbling right there.
It's an unthinkable sight to see.
Very tragic, very, very terrible.
Lindsay Burnett capturing the aftermath on video minutes after a Piper PA-24 crashed into a slough in Seldovia Wednesday afternoon.
We heard it happen. We heard the plane taking off and heard it crash. My dad did actually see it tip and go down.
4 people on board were killed. Alaska pilot Eric Middlebrook and 3 members of Middlebrook's family who were visiting from California. Ronald Schmidt, Lance Schmidt, and Daniel Simmons.
There was people there acting very, very fast, but it was still just not being able to do anything was terrifying.
That plane is totally underwater.
The NTSB says the plane was submerged in about 13 to 14 feet of water. The first to the scene did what they could to help.
So people were diving. There was other people getting canoes. They're trying to find someone who has goggles to dive down deeper. There were children running around and a lot of panic happening.
The circumstances that led to this crash still unclear.
What we're hearing now, and what we're not drawing any conclusions, that there may have been an attempted go-around, whereas for whatever reason, the pilot elected to try and go around. And that's when the accident took place. The circumstances that surround that, we don't know.
On Thursday, investigators shifted to recovering the wreckage, hoping to eventually provide answers to those questions. Georgina Fernandez, Alaska's news source.
And NTSB investigators do tell us they are going to attempt to pull the plane out of the slough around 6:30, so in about a half hour from now during low tide.
We're also learning more about the pilot of that plane, 68-year-old Eric Middlebrook. He's known across the state of Alaska for his work and public service. Here's a photo of him now. His partner, Molly Creasy, shared this with us. Middlebrook owned a commercial refrigeration business and served on the city council in Bethel before becoming the mayor of Bethel in 2006. He was a Northern California native. He spent decades in Alaska. Past reporting from his tenure in local politics says he was one of 6 siblings. And transitioning now, a major split in where crimes are happening in our state. While offenses ticked up over the past year, the numbers show a split across jurisdictions.
Investigative reporter Johnson Kuhn is at the touchboard to break down the numbers. Johnson?
Statewide, Alaska crime rose 7.2% over the last year. That's this red bar. But the long-term picture shows progress. Since 2018, overall statewide crime has dropped 36.9%, this green bar. However, a jurisdictional split tells a very different story. Locally, Anchorage Police Department saw a 14.6% surge in overall crime, driven by a near 20% spike in property offenses, indicated by the red lines. But comparing that to trooper patrol jurisdiction, crime actually fell by 5.9%, with property and violent offenses both down, indicated by the green bars. Now, meanwhile, the state is reporting continuous drop in its most violent crime category. Homicides statewide have declined 3 years in a row, from 56 in 2023 to 51 in 2024, and down to 44 last year. And in other major Alaskan cities, Fairbanks police, they recorded 1,660 total offenses, with 709 of those being violent crimes and 4 homicides. And as for the capital city in Juneau, they logged 1,052 total crimes with 459 violent crimes and 0 homicides for the year. Now, DPS officials caution that statistics only track when a crime is reported not occurred. Still, Governor Dunleavy stated that the data proves Anchorage policymakers must continue to prioritize public safety. Johnson Kuhn, Alaska's news source.
All right, it was a sunny day across South Central, but we are already starting to see some changes underway.
That's right. Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry joining us now with the details on an upcoming storm. Melissa.
Yeah, the storm already packing quite the punch on the western side of the state, where we've been seeing those high winds and heavy rain for much of the day. It is going to move east overnight tonight. I want to show you those current conditions and the contrast across the state. We're not seeing any impacts in Juneau, but Fairbanks, you can see those high clouds just beginning to drift in. Anchorage, we've been seeing those clouds gradually lowering, and they're already low there in Bethel, where heavy rain has been falling. Standing water on the runway there in Bethel, temperatures just in the mid 50s, and then we're seeing those wind gusts up to nearly 50 miles per hour as well. That heavier rain extending all the way north to Nome, and it's going to stick with you there overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Again, we have the rain and the wind advisory in effect through Friday afternoon for those wind gusts to 50 miles per hour, and then this is also producing a high surf. We'll see that surf again, those seas pushing 1.5 to 2.5 feet above a normal high tide line, in addition to just really rough sea conditions. So please stay safe along the coast. We'll see those high winds also pushing through the Alaska Range passes, where gusts of 65 to 70 miles per hour are likely tomorrow. In South Central, we'll see wind gusts near Anchorage as high as 45 miles per hour in town, higher for the hillside. So that rain arrives overnight tonight. Wet conditions are likely Friday mid-morning into the early afternoon. If you do have evening plans, though, tomorrow in Anchorage, good news. We should actually see some improvement there later in the day. We can see those wind gusts pretty strong throughout the afternoon and evening. And I'll have a closer look at that weekend forecast here in a few minutes.
All right, see you in just a bit. Thanks, Melissa. Alaska's oil and gas industry is showing new signs of strength with record attendance at the Alaska Oil and Gas Association's annual conference here in Anchorage.
Organizers do credit a growing optimism that Alaska's oil and gas industry is moving forward, particularly with projects on the North Slope. U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright was the keynote speaker. He says the demand for Alaskan oil and gas is only growing.
The massive oil exports from Alaska are desperately needed in the world, and the message I get from everyone is, when are we going to get more Alaskan oil? I do not speak to an Asian leader that doesn't say, when are we going to see increased oil available from Alaska?
Governor Dunleavy was also at that conference. He urged attendees to vote for leaders who support oil and gas development in the state.
Meanwhile, in the interior, Alaska government leaders are meeting right now at the Alaska Municipal League conference, and one of their big topics on the table is data centers and whether the state is ready for them.
State, utility, and local officials talking about the potential benefits like more power generation and investment, but also talking about some challenges. Those include resource strain and tough negotiations with companies. Some municipalities like Anchorage have already started putting policies in place.
I think on challenges, it's the challenge that we have with so many things, is that we have to figure out projects at a scale that works. And in Alaska, it's very hard to get to that right scale because things are very remote, energy can be challenging, and you have to have everything line up at once. So we want to have these happen in the right place that benefit Alaskans, and we have to figure out how to get them to the right scale.
Local leaders are saying that getting ahead of those issues is the key to making sure any data center benefits Alaska communities instead of straining them.
The State Fair is kicking off its second week up in Palmer and on a very beautiful day.
Yeah, Rebecca Palsha has been hanging around the fair all afternoon, but she's now taking a little break with some new friends in the 4-H club and some pretty cute animals, Rebecca.
I am so excited right now. I have all these animals with me. This is Buttercup. This is Jude Tompkins. Tell us a little bit about Buttercup.
Buttercup is a Jersey that is about 8 years old.
And so you said she's going to be a mother like maybe one more time, and then what's the plan?
I'm not sure yet.
Maybe not a nanny?
Well, she will be a nanny, so that way she can feed over calves.
Aw. Now, she was relaxing a little bit ago. Will you do the neck scratching thing? Because I really want Kyle and Augusta to see if she'll do it. She had this like very dramatic neck thing. 90-degree angle, yeah. It's so, let's see. She's like, no, I'm not performing just because you asked me to do something. Oh, but she's so pretty. How long does she, after she has a baby, how long does she produce milk for?
You can do it as long as you want, but like after a while they're gonna start dropping. I think the recommend is about 5 to 8 months.
5 to 8 months. That's a long time though. So we have about 20 more seconds. Anything else you want to tell us about Buttercup? Because she really is quite the beautiful girl.
What do you think? Well, right now she lives up at Homegate, which is not where we live. It's, my mom is a manager there. Which we actually sold her to someone who showed her in the Fairbanks show.
Oh, someone's mad.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then we got her back.
Nice. You happy she's home?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Buttercup, can you try with the neck one more time? I was just so impressed with this. We'll have to put some video on our website, but she's not having it. But she did have a beautiful moment of like her neck straight in the air. And so we'll toss it back to you and maybe we'll rub her ourselves.
Yeah.
Sounds like she's just a little camera shy there, but so sweet and beautiful.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.